Hello everyone, welcome to Raptor Productions, where today, um, you know what we're doing. It's been a while since I've made a video. Um, yeah, I kind of got to get used to it again. I did try to make a few videos, like a while ago, a few months ago, but, they didn't really turn out right, so I should probably redo them soon, but, yeah. Um, but that's not why you're here. So I'm I should have done this a long while ago. I'm finally going to be reviewing Venom Let There Be Carnage. Um, Full spoilers, by the way. I'm not even going to bother. It's been about like a week since it came out. It's been over a week now. So if you haven't seen it yet, definitely go see it. Um, but if you haven't and you don't want to be spoiled, then don't watch. Go away. Um, but but yeah, I really should have. But I guess since I waited a little bit, that means that I can just kind of do spoiler review without really having to worry that much. Um, but yeah, but I went to go see Let There Be Carnage. Well, first off, let me just say what I thought about the first Venom. I thought it was pretty good. At first, I thought it was kind of whatever, you know. I didn't think it was the greatest movie in the world, and it isn't, obviously. Um, I liked certain things about it. I think that Riot was a pretty whatever kind of villain, you know. He was a very basic villain. Um, he didn't really have a whole lot going for him besides he's Riot from the comics, and that's kind of it. Um, but yeah, um, but I thought I kind of I liked it. I liked Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock. I way prefer Venom in these movies compared to Topher Grace in Spider-Man 3, even though I love that version of Venom too. Um, he's a lot better in these movies. I really like his characterization in these movies a lot more than they were in Spider-Man 3. And again, I still love that version of Venom in that movie, but this version of Venom definitely has like his own, like Venom is a separate person from Eddie. He's not just like this kind of like mindless alien monster that wants to, I don't know, be evil, I guess. um, he's actually has a personality, and he's a person, um, which I prefer much more. I went to go see Let There Be Carnage with a few of my friends. It was very fun. Very fun. This is definitely the kind of movie that you should go see with a bunch of friends. 100%. Um, it's a very fun movie. I love Andy Serkis. He's one of my favorite actors out there. If you don't know who Andy Serkis is, well, he directed Let There Be Carnage. Um, but he was also King Kong in 2005. He literally played King Kong. He was Gollum in Lord of the Rings. He was Caesar in the Planet of the Apes trilogy. I love Andy Serkis, and this is the first movie that I've ever seen him direct. I know that he directed like that weird Netflix like Jungle Book movie or something, but I haven't watched that. But this is the first movie that I've seen directed by him, and I thought he did a really good job. I love this movie. This movie is so good. Um, it's way more silly than the first Venom because the first Venom kind of had Um, like you could tell that it kind of wanted to be silly in certain moments, but they didn't want to go like too far into that because they kind of wanted to keep it serious still. Like the first Venom didn't, I don't think really knew. I don't think it really knew what it wanted to be. But this one knows exactly what it wants to be, and it goes like full, like it goes full on insane. Carnage is one of my favorite Spider-Man villains ever. Um, he is so cool. um, I remember the first time I ever saw Carnage. It was, I'm pretty sure it was an ad for the SNES version of the Maximum Carnage video game for the SNES. I'm pretty sure I saw an ad for that, and I think it was like a Ghost Rider 2099 comic that my older cousin gave me. But I remember seeing that. I was like, "Who is that?" And it was like paint the town red and stuff. And I was like, "Oh, that's so cool! It's like red Venom." Um, and yeah, and that was the first time that I ever saw Carnage. Um, and yeah, I've kind of always kind of been obsessed with him, and I was always I always wanted him to be in a movie. Like I always wanted Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire fighting Carnage. Like I thought that would have been so cool. Um, uh, but yeah, but we finally, after years, he finally showed up in his own movie, and it was awesome. I think that Woody Harrelson did a really cool, a very interesting job with Cletus Cassidy. Um, I love Carnage, like the character of Carnage in this movie. He's a lot different from uh, versions of him in the comics. I mean, there's a lot of versions of him, but he's very different from what I understand in this version. I think that the animated series from the '90s kind of set the tone for Carnage for like everybody. Like his voice gets very like high pitched, like shrill kind of voice. But his voice in this movie is very like deep and kind of like it's kind of like an '80s like villain kind of. He's got a very deep voice, and I love that. I love his voice. I'm assuming that Woody Harrelson was the voice of Carnage, like Tom Hardy was the voice of Venom. Um, and I love Venom in this movie. Is so good. Like I don't know how people cannot like this movie. Like Venom literally goes to a rave. And there's even a scene in this movie where Carnage literally does spinjitzu, and it is crazy. This movie is just absolutely insane. Um, the score by Marco Beltrami, the who's done the Scream movies. Um, he did a great job. I love the soundtrack for this movie. Um, it's great. Like it's got a very electronic sound for Carnage. Um, and yeah, and I love his Venom theme. I really hope that he comes back for Venom 3 or whatever. Um, but yeah, um, Shriek was kind of an interesting character. The way that they set her up in her relationship with Cletus, I really like that. It's really my only like kind of actual complaint with the movie. I feel um, was that I wish that they kind of went a little bit deeper into those two. Like they set them up well, I think, but they don't really go any further from there. Um, yeah, like I think that they did a pretty good job. I mean, to be fair, you shouldn't really expect that much more from it, but the theme that Marco Beltrami made for them. There's this one song on the soundtrack. It's called "Get Shriek," and it's the music that plays whenever Carnage like reunites with Shriek, or Cletus reunites with Shriek. Um, it's it kind of has like this tragic kind of tone to it. And if you listen to it, it's a great theme. Um, but there's almost this like kind of tragic sound to it, and you don't really get that in the movie. You don't really feel that at all. But they could have done that. Um, and yeah, and the way that they both, I mean, full spoilers. So um, the the way that they both die, that kind of also lends cadence to that as well. I think a little bit. So they could have done a more tragic version of that, but they just kind of leave it kind of surface level, which is fine. Um, but yeah. Um, but yeah. The fight at the end of this movie, there's only one giant fight, and it's the final battle. I was expecting there to be like two fights between Venom and Carnage, but no, there's just the one, which is fine. Um, but it's great. You can one of the complaints about the first Venom, which I don't actually see as a flaw of the movie. I don't think that it looks that bad, but everybody complained about the first Venom, how the end battle between Venom and Riot kind of just looked like a CGI mash of just a CGI mash. Um, and I don't really think that that's the case, but yeah, but they 100% improved um, like the choreography and everything for this movie. The fight between Venom and Carnage is awesome. Um, it's it's got very cheesy dialogue, but I love it, and I was 100% expecting it, and I was 100% wanting it, and they gave it to me. Carnage literally says, "Let there be carnage," and it was so cool. And they did a really cool job on it. I went to go see this movie in an IMAX, and whenever he says, "Let there be carnage," the carnage is like super bass boosted and it's really loud. Like it's awesome. Um, yeah, um, but yeah, I like that. I love that. I love this movie. It's awesome. I am gonna buy this movie immediately whenever it comes out on Blu-ray or 4K or whatever. I'm gonna buy it 100% first thing. Um, yeah, I love it. Um, and they did drop an F bomb, of course, with Venom whenever he eats Cleus Cassidy. Um, which is cool. I was wondering if they were gonna do it this movie, and they did, which is awesome. Um, and yeah, trying to think of other stuff. Um, they actually do set up Toxin in this movie. Mulligan, the like detective or cop or whatever, um, who was a character throughout the whole movie. I'm pretty sure he was like, the actor was in Suicide Squad, the first one. Um, yeah, they set up Toxin because his character turns into Toxin in the comics, which is like Carnage's offspring or son or whatever. Um, but yeah, but his eyes glow and he's like, see monsters, and his eyes glow, so he's gonna be Toxin. Um, but yeah, but I love the like back and forth between Eddie and Venom. I love that. They really they really embraced that from the first movie, because the first movie there was a little bit of that, but they kind of held it back a little bit because it still didn't want to be like full on serious, even though like a turd in the wind. But yeah, um, Yeah, they go full on into the. There's literally a scene where Venom and Eddie fight each other, like the tendril like Venom head like wrapping around Eddie and stuff, and it's really really cool. It's really funny. But yeah, I love this movie. I keep on saying that, but it's true. I love this movie, and I love how it ends with just Venom and Eddie like hiding out on this like tropical island. Like, that's a perfect way to end it. Yeah, like I love this movie. And I love Carnage. It was interesting that Carnage and Cletus are different entities like Venom and Eddie, and I was kind of hoping that that would be the case because I wanted them to give Carnage a voice. I didn't want them to do, even though it's what it's like in the comics. I didn't want them to do, you know, Carnage and Cletus are kind of just one. I wanted them to have Carnage be, this other person like Venom. And they did do that, and I actually did like that. I'm not the biggest fan of them. Like, I don't know if they were not necessarily a match. I don't think that that was the case. I feel like Venom was just. I mean, I think that Eddie was just kind of telling Venom that so they could push up the thing. Um, oh yeah, there was a moment in this movie when Anna's about to fall down this down like the cathedral or whatever. And Venom's looking at her, and I sat in that theater and I was like, are they gonna do the Amazing Spider-Man 2 thing? And they didn't, but they got this close to doing that, and I thought that was really funny. But, yeah. Um, but yeah, I love the movie, like the overall movie. It's great. I love the movie. I love Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Um, this is gonna be one of those movies that I'm gonna remember. Um, but obviously, I can't end the video without talking about the uh, mid credit scene. The yeah. Oh yeah, Eminem made it. I'm so happy that Eminem came back for this movie. He's not singing another song, but he is in a song during the end credits, and it's so good. I love I love that Eminem is just like this part of Venom now. It's so weird, but yeah, I love that. um, but yeah, but the mid credit scene, that was the most I've ever freaked out in a movie theater ever, and I'm not even exaggerating that. Like even during Endgame, I didn't like actually scream. I don't remember me screaming anyways. I just had like this giant smile on my face the entire movie. Um, Kind of like this movie, like to the point where my cheeks started hurting. Um, but I never like audibly was like, oh my god, yeah, because I don't like to do that. I want to do that during a movie, but I'm too socially awkward to do that. But this movie during that end credit scene, I was. I mean, I can talk about it. Spider Man shows up. Tom Holland's Spider Man. Oh, I can't believe that they did that. I never thought in a million years that they would ever actually do that. I figured like they would always just kind of be in this limbo of like maybe Venom's in the MCU, but maybe he's not. But no, they said nope, Venom's in his own universe and he's in the MCU now from Ultron or Loki or Doctor Strange or whoever destroyed the multiverse, whoever did that. Um, but yeah, he's in the MCU, and J.K. Simmons showed up as an. I saw that, and I saw J.K. Simmons on that screen, and I was like, oh my god, and I was freaking out, and my friends on the other side of me didn't notice, and I was like, "Oh my god, dude, oh my god!" and and then they showed it, and then Tom Holland's Spider Man showed up, and it did not look good. It was a very bad green screen, and it definitely looked like a last minute thing. But whenever Venom said that guy, and then he licked the TV screen up. Oh man, I love that. That might be my favorite post credit scene out of any Marvel movie. well, I don't know. I mean, I guess I would have to think about it, but it's it's probably pretty high up there. Um, but yeah, dude. Um, so Venom could be in No Way Home, which is crazy, and I think that he is, because there's that one shot in the trailer where in the No Way Home trailer where there's the shadow and it like hits this like barrier or whatever, this like weird orange glow, and everybody, including me, was like, oh, it's the lizard from the Amazing Spider-Man one. And I thought that it was too, and it looked like him. And rumors, it's the lizard. Or, the rumors are, the lizard from the Amazing Spider-Man one is gonna be in it. And they even like played his like roar, like the lizard's roar from the Amazing Spider-Man during that shot in the trailer. So they really wanted you to think that it was the lizard. But if you look at it and you look at it enough, you can't see a tail, and it looks bulky, and it looks like it's Venom, and it's in cast and shadow. But I swear you can kind of see his eyes and his tongue. I don't know if it's the lizard. It's not 100% confirmed if it's Venom, and it could be the lizard. And we pretty much know at this point that the lizard's going to be in it. But it's the question of if that's Venom or if it's the lizard. It's not the question of if the lizard's going to be in the movie, because he is. Um, so Venom could be the sixth member of the Sinister Six. I kind of hope not, because I don't think that that would really make sense in terms of Venom's characterization, because he's the lethal protector. He's not a full on villain. Um, as far as we know, I mean, he looked the TV screen and when it was like that guy. So maybe Venom, whenever he was about to do the mind scramble thing with Eddie, maybe he's like, maybe through symbiotes from the multiverse and stuff, like he knows about symbiotes that have fought Spider-Man, and maybe he's like familiar with Spider-Man with Spider-Man. Um, I think that that would be a good way to do it. But yeah, I don't think that he should be a member of the Sister Six. Um, I think that they should show him in No Way Home, but I want them to save Venom for Venom and Spider Man, like full on going at it, in their own movie, whether it be like it. I mean, I guess it would probably be Venom 3, but I don't know. They could do Spider Man 4 with that, and then they can do Venom 3 with Toxin. Um, and another thing about him being in the Sister Six is that I have a fear that if they were to do that, they would really rush through him and Venom kind of being a thing. Um, and then they would just send Venom, like Doctor Strange would send Venom back to his universe, back to the Venom verse or whatever, so he can fight Toxin, and see Anne again or whatever. And I would really be disappointed a lot by that. That they would just like completely rush through it, in a movie that's already got the two other Spider-Men and this multiverse Sinister Six and just a bunch of other stuff going on, and Daredevil and Mysterious, just a bunch of stuff going on in it. I would really be disappointed if they just kind of rush through that, and then send him back to his universe at the end of the movie. Obviously, they should send Venom back to his universe at some point, but I want him to stay in the MCU for like a good movie or two, like a good couple of movies, you know. And we're gonna get Venom with the White Spider, and he's gonna have the webs. He's gonna have the webs, and we might get Black Suit Spider Man. I really hope so. Again, I think that they should save the two of them going at it for their own movie. But I love this movie. The entire thing, not just the post credit scene. Everybody is talking about how the post credit scene is the only good part. That's 100% not the case. The entire movie is great. I love it so much. And yeah, I mean, I guess I can't really say anything else about it. I mean, I loved it. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much gonna do it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, post notifications, all that other stuff. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of Venom. Let there be carnage. Uh, go watch it. Um, go see it in IMAX. It's an awesome movie. And if you don't like it, then I don't like you. So yeah. Oh bye.